Ready? All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Wake up. I know it's hard. It's nearly the end of the day, but I'm going to make it short, and I try to leave enough room for questions. I think it's a hot topic, and I think you're going to be interested in this talk. My name is Ouriel. I'm the CEO of Zango. Zango is a crypto wallet. It's a new generation of crypto wallet, and we're going to explain how today there is a big problem in transactional security in Web3 and how we are improving the situation. So let's get started with the problem. The problem is simple. Today people are losing their NFTs and their crypto by simply using their crypto wallets and signing transactions. If you don't know about it, open your eyes, read the news. It's happening nearly every week. Just this week, this has happened twice. Premium hack and a social media account taken over. Just a few reminders. I'm sure this crowd is already aware. I forgot to put my timer on. Web3 signing, very simple. You want to interact with an application built on the blockchain. You need to authenticate to it. You need to sign a message that will give some sort of instruction, and then do whatever you do. This is how Web3 works everywhere on any type of app, whether this is a decentralized exchange, a marketplace, or whatever. So what's the problem? The problem is that signing a transaction is becoming increasingly risky and dangerous. And the reason for that is because crypto used to be exclusively or mostly about trading, not interacting with dApps, not the case anymore. We are now in a transactional economy versus a trading economy. And crypto is more and more happening on the go, on smaller screens. And wallets have not adapted to that reality. Websites have seen dApps being built for computers versus mobile screens. And even on computers, it's very, very hard to realize the attack vectors that you can be exposed to. So crypto wallets today are not fit to that reality. So what does that mean? That means that there is all sorts of dangers that are happening today in Web3. And I'm not going to go through every one of them. There are just way too many. But phishing scams, dApp impersonations, celebrity social account takeovers, dApp contract hacks, dApp interfaces take over. That's what happened this week to premiums, for example. Rug pulls, malicious airdrops, seed account takeover, abusive permissions, etc., etc. Those are live examples of things that have happened in the past. I'm going through very, very quickly because I really want to go through the solutions and what we believe all wallets should implement. Platform bugs, protocol takeover. I didn't have the time to update it with the example of that week, but it's really, really very, very numerous. And the thing is that wallets, even the most secure one, at least today, don't have a naturally fit built-in protection, or at least user experience for that. Hardware wallets, even that are extremely safe to protect the private key, don't provide a great signing UX, UI experience, and even less protection. So the problem is that it's not so much on the wallet side or on the dApp side versus on the user side. The experience for the user is actually inexistent, and users do not understand the dangers that they are exposed to, and they do not understand what they do not understand. So that's really a problem. And so what can we do about that? And so to take a comparison today, wallets feel more like driving a car without a brakes and an airbag. Any wallet that you're using today should make you feel something like that, unless you're not aware. You are driving a car without protection. And so, even hardware wallet have not yet adapted to that. I'm sure this will come up, but that's something that the illusion that the private key is protected is not enough to have a transactional experience that is safe and secure. This is an example of, oops, something has happened on the slide. Sorry about that, but the point is the screenshots on the right. Those are examples of what transactional signing experience looks like on popular wallets. If someone can understand what's there, congratulations, you're very smart and very educated. And if not, you are a normal human being. So that insanity has to stop. We want people to really first understand what they are signing up for. And the question really is, can a wallet be at the same time usable, understandable, and safe to transact, not just to keep your funds and be protected by a private key protection in the wallet, but really safe to transact. So, what would a safe signing user experience look like if it was existing? It exists already, but if it was existing. First, the account should be protected, all right? The private key should never be exposed in any way, at any moment, and ideally should not even exist, right? So that it cannot be provided by the user to a DApp or a DApp impersonator. It should be built for anti-phishing, meaning it should be readable, understandable, and verified, very important, verified. And it should also protect you like a firewall does, meaning blocking malicious attack. Oops, something's not working. Oh, now it's working. So, what can we do about it? So we've thought long and hard about what we could do at Zango, and we've spent a lot of time building a wallet that is by design not exposing private keys to anything, because we're using multi-party computation, meaning a cryptography where a private key is never ever generated, although you can still control your transactions and sign on-chain transactions. But today, actually we announced it at FTYC, but today we're announcing officially the launch of ClearSign. ClearSign, it's a firewall for Web3 wallets. So what is it? It's a new and simple way to safely sign for Web3 transactions and interact with apps. This is typical paths that you will see on an app. This is Collabland, but you could see that path on other apps. You go to an app, they ask you to authenticate through MetaMask or Wallet Connect or whatever wallet you're using, and then you're going to interact with it. So ClearSign does three things, all right? It makes first, and try to remember what you saw before in the screenshots of the popular wallets that are exposing transactions. First, it makes the transaction extremely clear and readable. It's designed to be understood by someone who does not understand code. As you can see here, it's fairly well presented, laid out. That's not the most important thing. The transaction signature, the signing structure is actually verified versus the original transaction signature of the DApp, so that you know that you are actually interacting with the DApp, even if the interface has been taken over. So there is a check mark that is right there. And you can also double click and get the full message if you want to actually read it and if you're an expert. So it makes it clear, it makes it verified and readable. But more importantly, it will also prevent malicious attacks. If ClearSign identifies that that transaction message and structure is not the original one, it will not even let you sign the transaction. It will block it. And I know there are people that might scream that we prevent transaction from happening, but we have made that design choice that if something is a known danger, we do not let it happen. So those are for known scams. And there is the case of high-risk transactions, right? So the case of you interacting with a transaction where you're going to have a set approval for all, meaning you're going to have a total permission given to the DApp, and you're not even aware of you doing that or what it means. So we are introducing in the coming weeks this experience where you will have a double trigger warning in red that makes it extremely clear that you are about to die. Right, so you will have a message that says you're about to die. Are you sure? You're sure you want to die? Then die, right? And if someone wants to die, that's his choice. But at least they know. Of course, on top of that, you have the MPC protection of the private key never existing, meaning that, typical case, you link to a DApp, they ask you for, your private key. Some people might want to do it. On Zango, it's not possible because we're not using MPC. We're using a passwordless authentication based on liveness biometrics. And if you want to see how it works, I invite you to try Zango. So to summarize, ClearSign is a safer transactional UX, user experience. It's easy to understand. It's clear, it's verified. It creates alerts for high-risk transactions. It protects against unexpected and unwanted actions in case of dApps or interface takeover, and it eliminates the risk of seed and passwords takeover because they never exist. The beautiful thing about ClearSign, it doesn't require any change, both from the user and the dApp developer. They don't have to implement anything at all. everything happens intelligently in the wallet, and you just have to use crypto wallet the same way you usually do. What do I have next? Oops. No, here. All right. Some disclosure and disclaimers. What it is not. What ClearSign is not. And by the way, this is a security principle or a guiding principle we have at Zengo is when you announce the benefits, you also have to announce the limits of a system, right? So there's nothing is perfect in security. And I'm sure many wallets will beat something equivalent, but we think it's important to understand what ClearSign, in our case, is not. First, it's not an insurance against your crypto, meaning that there is no protection. If you indeed want to die and lose your crypto, that thing can happen, and so there's no insurance there. It's not a 100% guarantee that no risk can ever happen. 100% security never exists in any system, no matter what the solution claims. And it's not a replacement for awareness and for education. You should always be extremely careful what you're doing, of course. Similarly, if you're driving a car with an airbag and a seatbelt, you want to respect the speed limit, because otherwise you are going to die for sure, or likely to die. It's not a protection either for perfect social engineering, right? So rogue OTC deals, peer-to-peer happening on social media channels. It's very easy to get lured into those things. And if someone wants you to send crypto to him, there's no way back button. ClearSign is not a protection for that. The protection is you. So you should always be aware of what you are doing. So the vision here, I'm nearly done. All right. The vision here is just to introduce a new layer of protection which combines user experience, clarity of messaging, and protection of dApps built in a user experience that already exists without having developers build new stuff and just users doing what they want to do. So ClearSign is already rolled on today on Zengo on iOS and Android. It's supported with Collabland and token proof and more dApps that will be announced in the coming days. And in the coming weeks, very shortly, it will be there will be a generic. No, I can't. We don't make watches, we just make wallets. Thank you, Siri. So in the coming weeks, there will be a support for generic transactional experience, whether an app is supported or not. I think that's it. This is, oops, the table has been broken again by the magic of PowerPoint. This is a summary of how Zengo compares to other typical wallets in terms of security. By the way, I'm sure that many wallets are already thinking about building something like that, but I think we're a step ahead here. And I think I'm done. I'm probably going to take some questions if you have. Most important slide, stays in.
Hi, thank you very much for the talk. So as dApp developers, does that mean if I want to integrate Zengo, does it integrate simply with Wallet Connect and then user can just choose on Wallet Connect? I don't have to specifically add.
You have to do nothing. Okay. All right. So the thing that we need to do though is if we want to develop a specific messaging for the user on your dApp, there is a little work that we need to do on our side, but it's very minor and it can be done in like minutes. And so we're going to add, without asking developers, we're going to support all the most popular apps one by one. And if apps is smaller and wants to interact with us, they just need to ask. And at some point, we'll open source it, and people will be able to do it by themselves.
Hi, my name is Andrei. Thank you for the presentation. Could you please tell, does ClearSign use any backend, and is it open source or not?
So ClearSign is not open source. We're open sourcing all the cryptography that we are using. So it's already there in GitHub. ClearSign is a new product. So our principle is not to open source right away things. We first build them until they are crisp. And then in the later stage, we're open sourcing them. So at this stage, it's not open source.
Last question. Thank you for the presentation. About the multi-party computing that you're using for the wallets, can you specify how does it work, or there is on your GitHub?
Sure. I mean, it would require an hour to explain that, but very simply, instead of generating a pair public-private key, right? Typical wallet do that. What we do is we are generating independent secret shares between the phone and our server, right, where the controlling share is on the phone by the user, right? And so together, there will be a threshold signature, which at some point replaces or performs as a private key, and then performs a transaction on the blockchain.
Okay, so you have you have kind of a backend to.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.